Every second, billions of devices are connected to the internet. Phones, laptops, smart TV, gaming consoles, security cameras, even refrigerators. Most of them have one thing in common: there isn't a single cable connecting them to the internet. Instead, they rely on something completely invisible: Wi-Fi. It allows you to stream movies, join video calls, play online games and browse the internet without ever plugging in a wire. But have you ever stopped to ask, how does Wi-Fi actually work? How does your phone receive data through solid concrete walls? How can dozens of devices communicate with a single router without their signals getting mixed together? How can information travel through the air at nearly the speed of light without you ever seeing it? And why does your connection suddenly become terrible the moment you walk into another room? By the end of this video, you'll understand exactly what Wi-Fi is, how routers transmit data, how your devices receive it, why walls weaken your signal, why different Wi-Fi frequencies behave differently, and how engineers continue to make wireless communication faster every single year. Let's break it down. Today, Wi-Fi has become so common that we rarely think about it. We simply expect it to work. We walk into a cafe, open our laptop, connect, and within seconds, we're watching videos hosted on servers located thousands of kilometers away. It feels almost like magic. But behind every wireless connection is an extraordinary combination of radio engineering, electromagnetism, digital communication, signal processing, computer networking, and information theory. Together, these technologies allow billions of devices to exchange enormous amounts of data every single day. Yet despite using Wi-Fi constantly, many people still believe it is the internet. In reality, Wi-Fi is only one small part of a much larger system. Understanding that difference is the first step toward understanding how wireless communication really works. A brief history of Wi-Fi. Long before Wi-Fi existed, connecting a computer to a network almost always required a cable. If you wanted internet access, you plugged your computer directly into the network. It worked well, but it wasn't exactly convenient. As portable computers became more common, engineers began searching for a way to eliminate the cable entirely. One of the earliest breakthroughs came in the early 1970s with a wireless computer network known as Alahanit, developed at the University of Hawaii. It demonstrated that computers could communicate using radio waves instead of physical wires. Although simple by today's standards, it introduced many of the ideas that modern wireless networks still use today. Over the following decades, researchers continued improving wireless networking technology. A few years later, technology companies formed an organization called the Wi-Fi Alliance. Its job was to ensure that wireless devices from different manufacturers could all communicate with one another. Since then, Wi-Fi has evolved dramatically. Each new generation has delivered faster speeds, greater reliability, better security, and support for more connected devices. Today, modern Wi-Fi networks can transfer data at speeds measured in gigabits per second. Yet despite all these improvements, the basic principle remains exactly the same. A router converts digital information into radio waves, sends those waves through the air, and another device converts them back into digital data. Simple in concept, incredibly sophisticated in execution. What Wi-Fi actually is. Before we can understand how Wi-Fi works, we first need to clear up one of the biggest misconceptions. Wi-Fi is not the internet. They're two completely different things. The internet is a massive global network. It's made up of millions of servers, undersea fiber optic cables, data centers, satellites, and network equipment spread across the world. Wi-Fi is simply a way for your devices to communicate with your local network without using cables. Think of it like this. Imagine the internet is an enormous highway system connecting cities across the world. Your home router is like the exit leading into your neighborhood. Wi-Fi is the small road connecting your house to that exit. Without Wi-Fi, your phone could still access the internet. You would simply need a cable. Likewise, without the internet, your Wi-Fi network could still exist. Your laptop could still send files to your printer. Your phone could still control your smart TV. Your devices could still communicate with each other. They just wouldn't be able to reach websites or online services. This distinction is important because Wi-Fi's job isn't to create the internet. Its job is simply to replace one thing, the cable. But if Wi-Fi only replaces the cable, what actually connects your house to the internet? To answer that, we need to look at two devices that many people confuse, the modem and the router. The modem versus the router. When people say my Wi-Fi isn't working, they often point to the router. But in many homes, there are actually two different devices working together. The modem and the router. Each has a completely different job. Let's start with the modem. Your internet service provider, or ISP, delivers internet access to your home. Depending on where you live, that connection may arrive through fiber optic cable, coaxial cable, telephone lines, or even fixed wireless links. The modem's job is to translate those incoming signals into digital data that your home network can understand. You can think of the modem as the gateway between your home and the outside world. The router comes after the modem. Instead of communicating with your internet service provider, the router communicates with all the devices inside your home. Your phone, laptop, tablet, smart TV, gaming console, security cameras, smart speakers, and dozens of other connected devices. Whenever one of these devices requests information from the internet, the router decides exactly where that request should go. When the response comes back, the router makes sure it reaches the correct device. In other words, the modem connects your home to the internet. The router connects all your devices to the modem and to each other. Many modern home units combine both functions into a single box. Although they appear to be one device inside, they're still performing two separate jobs. Now that we know what the router does, the next question becomes, how does it send information through empty space without any wires? The answer begins with something we've already encountered in our microwave documentary, electromagnetic waves. Electromagnetic waves. Every time your router sends data, it doesn't send tiny pieces of information floating through the air. Instead, it sends electromagnetic waves. These are the same family of waves that include radio broadcasts, television signals, cellular networks, microwaves, infrared light, visible light, ultraviolet light, X-rays and gamma rays. The only thing that separates these waves is their frequency. Some oscillate only a few thousand times every second. Others, billions, or even trillions of times every second. Wi-Fi uses radio waves. Specifically, it operates in several radio frequency bands, including 2.4 GHz, 5 GHz, and more recently 6 GHz. These frequencies were chosen because they provide a practical balance between speed, range, and the ability to pass through everyday obstacles like walls and furniture. But here's something fascinating. The router isn't sending internet through the air. It's sending patterns, tiny changes in radio waves. Those changing patterns represent digital information. Every web page you visit, every video you stream, every online game you play is ultimately reduced to billions of ones and zeros. The router's job is to encode those ones and zeros onto a radio wave. Your phone's job is to decode them. But how can a simple radio wave carry something as complex as an entire movie? The answer lies in one of the most important ideas in modern communications: modulation. How routers turn data into radio waves. At this point, your router has digital information ready to send. Maybe it's a YouTube video, a WhatsApp message, or this very documentary. Inside the router, that information exists as binary, a long sequence of ones and zeros. Computers understand binary perfectly, but radio waves don't. You can't simply launch a stream of ones and zeros into the air. Instead, the router must convert that digital information into something that can travel wirelessly. This process is called modulation. Think of a radio wave as a blank sheet of paper. By itself, it carries no useful information. But if you write a message on that paper, it suddenly becomes meaningful. Modulation works in a similar way. The router takes a steady radio wave, called the carrier wave, and subtly changes its properties to represent digital data. Those changes might involve the wave's amplitude, frequency, phase, or a combination of all three. Each tiny variation represents specific binary values. As millions of these changes occur every second, the radio wave becomes a stream of digital information traveling through the air. Modern Wi-Fi uses incredibly sophisticated modulation techniques. Instead of allowing each wave change to represent only a single bit, advanced systems can represent several bits at once. This dramatically increases the amount of information that can be transmitted every second. It's one of the reasons why today's Wi-Fi is thousands of times faster than the earliest wireless networks. But modulation is only half the story. Once the signal has been created, it still needs to leave the router. That's the job of the antenna. Antennas. If you've ever looked at a Wi-Fi router, you've probably noticed one or more antennas. Some stick out visibly, others are hidden inside the casing. Regardless of their appearance, their job is exactly the same: to convert electrical signals into electromagnetic waves. Inside the router, the modulated signal exists as a rapidly changing electrical current. When that current flows through the antenna, it forces electrons to move back and forth billions of times every second. Moving electric charges naturally produce changing electric and magnetic fields. Those changing fields detach from the antenna and travel outward through space as electromagnetic waves. In other words, the antenna doesn't throw radio waves into the air. It creates conditions that allow electromagnetic waves to form naturally. These waves spread outward in all directions, moving at nearly the speed of light. Within a fraction of a second, they've already reached every room in your home. If your phone is within range, its own antenna intercepts a tiny portion of that energy. But here's something remarkable: your phone isn't the only device receiving those waves. Every compatible device nearby receives them too. So how does your phone know which information belongs to it and which belongs to everyone else? The answer lies in something called data packets. Data packets. Imagine mailing a 1,000-page book to a friend. Instead of placing the entire book into one enormous package, you divide it into hundreds of small envelopes. Each envelope is numbered. When they arrive, your friend simply puts them back in the correct order. Wi-Fi works in much the same way. Large files aren't transmitted all at once. They're divided into thousands, or even millions of tiny pieces called packets. Each packet contains several important pieces of information: the actual data, the destination address, the sender's address, and information that allows the receiving device to detect errors. As these packets leave the router, they don't necessarily arrive in order. Some may take slightly different paths through the network. Some may even need to be retransmitted if interference causes them to become corrupted. Your phone continuously checks every packet as it arrives. If everything is correct, the packet is accepted. If something is missing or damaged, the phone requests that specific packet again. Only after every packet has been received does your device rebuild the original file. Whether it's a web page, a movie, or an online game, everything you receive over Wi-Fi is really just millions of tiny packets arriving in rapid succession. And this entire process happens so quickly that it feels completely seamless. But if radio waves travel so efficiently, why does walking into another room sometimes cause your Wi-Fi speed to collapse? The answer lies in the obstacles between you and your router. Why walls weaken Wi-Fi signals? Have you ever noticed your Wi-Fi works perfectly in one room, but slows to a crawl in another? At first glance, that seems strange. After all, radio waves travel at nearly the speed of light. So why would a single wall make such a difference? The answer is simple. Radio waves don't pass through every material equally. As Wi-Fi signals travel through your home, they constantly encounter obstacles. Drywall, wood, glass, brick, concrete, metal, and even people. Each material interacts with the radio waves differently. Some materials allow most of the signal to pass through, others absorb part of the energy, some reflect it, and some scatter it in multiple directions. Think of shining a flashlight through different objects. A clear window lets most of the light through, a curtain blocks much of it, a mirror reflects it. Wi-Fi signals behave in a very similar way. Wooden doors and drywall usually weaken the signal only slightly. Brick walls reduce it much more. Concrete, especially reinforced concrete, can absorb or reflect a significant portion of the signal. Metal is even more challenging. Instead of allowing radio waves to pass, metal reflects them. That's why elevators, shipping containers, and some office buildings can create areas with very poor Wi-Fi reception. But perhaps the biggest surprise is water. Remember from our previous documentary on microwave ovens, water molecules interact strongly with certain electromagnetic waves. Although Wi-Fi uses much lower power than a microwave oven, its radio waves are still affected by water, and the human body is about 60% water. That means every person standing between your phone and the router absorbs a small portion of the signal. One person isn't a big problem. But in crowded places like airports, stadiums, shopping malls, or conferences, hundreds of people can noticeably reduce wireless performance. Distance also plays a major role. As radio waves spread outward, their energy becomes distributed over a larger and larger area. The farther you move from the router, the weaker the signal becomes. This is why Wi-Fi bars gradually disappear as you walk away. But walls and distance aren't the only reasons your Wi-Fi slows down. Sometimes, the problem comes from other Wi-Fi networks competing for the same airwaves. Why do 0.4 GHz, 5 GHz, and 6 GHz behave differently? Modern routers usually broadcast on multiple frequency bands. The most common are to 0.4 GHz, 5 GHz, and increasingly 6 GHz. Many people assume that a higher frequency simply means faster Wi-Fi. While that's generally true, there's an important trade-off. Let's start with 2.4 GHz. This band has been around for decades. Because its radio waves have longer wavelengths, they travel farther. They're also better at passing through walls and other obstacles. That's why devices far away from the router often remain connected on the 2.4 GHz band. But there's a downside. The 2.4 GHz band is extremely crowded. It's shared by Bluetooth devices, wireless keyboards, baby monitors, older cordless phones, and countless neighboring Wi-Fi networks. All of these devices compete for the same limited space. The result is more interference and lower speeds. Now consider 5 GHz. Its higher frequency allows it to carry much more data. That means faster downloads, smoother video streaming, and lower latency for gaming. However, those shorter wavelengths don't travel as far. They're also absorbed more easily by walls and furniture. So while 5 GHz offers better performance, its usable range is usually smaller. Then came 6 GHz, introduced with Wi-Fi 6E and expanded further with Wi-Fi 7. This new band provides even more available channels. That means less congestion, higher speeds, and better performance in crowded environments. But it also has the shortest range of the three. Engineers therefore face a constant balancing act. Lower frequencies provide better coverage. Higher frequencies provide greater speed. Modern routers solve this problem by intelligently switching devices between frequency bands, ensuring each one uses the most suitable connection. But frequency isn't the only trick modern Wi-Fi has learned. Today's routers have become much smarter about how they transmit signals in the first place. MIMO and beamforming. Imagine you're in a crowded classroom. 20 students are trying to ask the teacher questions at exactly the same time. What happens? Nobody understands anyone. The room becomes chaos. Now imagine the teacher could somehow speak to several students individually at the exact same moment. That's essentially what modern Wi-Fi routers have learned to do. Early Wi-Fi routers were relatively simple. They typically used a single antenna to transmit data. Only one device could effectively communicate at a time. As more devices joined the network, everyone had to take turns. It worked, but it wasn't very efficient. Today, the average home might have the smartphones, multiple laptops, smart TV, gaming consoles, security cameras, smart speakers, tablets, and dozens of smart home devices. If each one had to wait its turn, your Wi-Fi would quickly become overwhelmed. This is where a technology called MIMO comes in. MIMO stands for multiple input, multiple output. Instead of using just one antenna, modern routers use several antennas working together. Each antenna can send and receive separate streams of data simultaneously. Think of it like expanding a single-lane road into a multi-lane highway. Instead of every car waiting behind one another, multiple lanes allow traffic to flow at the same time. This dramatically increases the amount of data the router can handle. As Wi-Fi technology improved, engineers introduced something even more powerful, MIMO. The MU stands for multi-user. Rather than serving one device after another, the router can now communicate with several devices simultaneously. Your laptop might be downloading a file, while your television streams a movie, your phone browses social media, and your smart speaker downloads a software update. All at the same time, without constantly waiting for each other. But perhaps the most impressive innovation is something called beamforming. Normally, radio waves spread outward in many directions. It's similar to a light bulb, which shines light throughout an entire room. That's useful, but it's also inefficient. A large portion of the signal is wasted in places where no devices exist. Beamforming changes that. Instead of broadcasting energy equally in every direction, the router first determines approximately where each connected device is located. Using several antennas together, it carefully adjusts the timing of each transmitted signal. These tiny timing differences cause the radio waves to combine more strongly in one direction and more weakly in others. The result is a concentrated signal aimed towards your device. It's almost like replacing a light bulb with a flashlight. Not only does this improve signal strength, it also increases speed, reduces interference, and extends the effective range of the network. It's one of the reasons modern Wi-Fi performs so much better than earlier generations. But even with all these incredible technologies, your connection can still become frustratingly slow. Why? Because Wi-Fi isn't just affected by distance and walls. Sometimes, the biggest problem is everyone else. Why Wi-Fi gets slow? Have you ever noticed your Wi-Fi seems much slower during the evening? Or that it works perfectly one day and struggles the next? In many cases, the problem isn't your internet provider. It's your wireless environment, Remember, Wi-Fi uses radio waves, and radio waves are a shared resource. Imagine trying to have a conversation in a quiet library. You can hear every word clearly. Now imagine having that same conversation in the middle of a crowded concert. Suddenly, everyone is talking over everyone else. That's exactly what happens on busy Wi-Fi channels. In apartment buildings, there may be dozens of routers operating only a few meters apart. Many of them are trying to use the same radio frequencies. As these signals overlap, devices must wait for the channel to become clear before transmitting. The more devices competing, the slower communication becomes. This is known as network congestion. Interference can also come from unexpected sources. Bluetooth devices, wireless keyboards, baby monitors, some cordless phones, and even microwave ovens. Although microwave ovens operate at much higher power, they use frequencies close to the 2.4 GHz Wi-Fi band. If a microwave isn't properly shielded, small amounts of interference can leak into the surrounding area. It's usually minor, but it can briefly affect nearby Wi-Fi devices. Another major factor is simply the number of connected devices. Every smartphone, tablet, camera, television, or smart appliance demands a share of the router's attention. Even if those devices aren't actively downloading large files, they're constantly sending and receiving small amounts of information. The router must coordinate all of these communications thousands of times every second. Modern Wi-Fi standards have become remarkably efficient at managing this traffic. But every network has its limits, which raises another important question. If radio waves are constantly flying through the air, how do you stop your neighbors from reading your data? The answer is encryption. Wi-Fi security. Every time you connect to Wi-Fi, your device sends and receives enormous amounts of information. Emails, passwords, bank transactions, photos and private messages. If all of this data were transmitted as plain text, anyone nearby with the right equipment could intercept it. So why doesn't that happen? The answer is encryption. Encryption is the process of converting readable information into an unreadable form. Imagine writing a letter, then locking it inside a safe before mailing it. Anyone can see the safe, but without the correct key, they have no idea what's inside. Wi-Fi works in much the same way. Before your phone sends data through the air, it encrypts the information using complex mathematical algorithms. To anyone intercepting the radio signal, the transmission appears as nothing more than a stream of meaningless data. Only your router, which possesses the correct encryption key, can unlock and understand the message. The same happens in reverse. When the router sends information back to your phone, it encrypts that data before transmission. Your device then decrypts it using the same shared key. Modern Wi-Fi networks typically use security standards such as WPA2 and the newer WPA3. These protocols don't just encrypt your data, they also verify that the device joining the network is authorized to do so. That's why entering the correct Wi-Fi password is so important. The password itself isn't what's protecting every piece of information. Instead, it's used during the authentication process to establish secure encryption keys between your device and the router. Without those keys, your data would remain unreadable. Of course, no security system is perfect. Weak passwords, outdated routers, or older encryption standards can still create vulnerabilities. That's why engineers continuously develop stronger security protocols as computing power increases. As wireless technology evolves, keeping information secure becomes just as important as transmitting it quickly. And speaking of evolution, Wi-Fi itself is still changing. The routers we use today are already far more advanced than those from just a decade ago. But the future promises something even more impressive. The future of Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi has come a long way since the first wireless networking standard was introduced in 1997. Each new generation has delivered faster speeds, lower latency, better security, and support for more connected devices. Today, the latest standards, including Wi-Fi 7, are capable of delivering speeds measured in tens of gigabits per second under ideal conditions. But speed isn't the only goal anymore. The future of Wi-Fi is focused on intelligence. Imagine a router that doesn't simply broadcast signals, but constantly studies your home's wireless environment. It detects interference, predicts congestion, automatically selects the best channels, and directs signals precisely where they're needed, all without you ever noticing. Artificial intelligence is already beginning to play a role in network management. Future routers may optimize performance in real time, learning how your household uses the network and adapting automatically. Engineers are also exploring entirely new forms of wireless communication. One promising technology is Li-Fi. Instead of using radio waves, Li-Fi uses rapidly flashing LED lights to transmit data. These flashes occur millions of times every second, far too quickly for the human eye to detect. Because light doesn't pass through walls, Li-Fi could provide extremely fast, highly secure wireless communication in specific environments. Meanwhile, future Wi-Fi standards will continue increasing capacity, reducing latency, and supporting the billions of smart devices expected to join the Internet of Things. The invisible network surrounding us today is only the beginning. So, how does Wi-Fi actually work? It all begins with digital information. Your router receives data from the Internet, breaks it into tiny packets, encodes those packets onto radio waves, and transmits them through the air. Your phone, laptop, or smart TV receives those waves using its own antenna, decodes the signal, checks every packet for errors, reassembles the original information, and displays it almost instantly. Along the way, the signal must travel through walls, avoid interference, share the airwaves with dozens of other devices, and keep your personal information securely encrypted. It's an extraordinary combination of physics, electrical engineering, computer science, signal processing, and networking, all working together, billions of times every second. The next time you connect to Wi-Fi, stream a movie, join a video call, or send a simple text message, remember, you're witnessing one of the greatest engineering achievements of the modern world. Invisible, silent, and incredibly sophisticated. If you enjoyed this documentary, don't forget to subscribe to Circuits and Crank for more deep dives into the engineering behind the technologies we use every day. Because the world is full of amazing machines, once you understand how they actually work,